Hi Elke, this is your lesson and you might be surprised to see this picture. We've talked about this. I told you a couple months ago that I took a picture of Loki and I couldn't find it. And I looked through my computer at all my images and it's not on the computer, therefore it must be on an old computer that I don't have anymore. But anyway, I was going through this set of pictures looking for something I want to paint. I came across a print that I made of Loki when you lived on Maplewood Avenue. This is her curled up on the couch. And so I printed the picture and I was thinking of doing a drawing or a painting of it, but I never did it. But it raises a question that I want to talk to you about, and that is this. What do we choose for subjects to paint? And I want to mention also that when I did a YouTube video of drawing a cereal box, a Cheerios box, I asked you to draw it half size, and it was called paper ruler. At the end of it, I made a joke. The joke was this. I said, after doing all that drawing of the Cheerios box, I said, but what if you don't like Cheerios? Well, then I said, well, if you don't like Cheerios, you could do Rice Krispies. But actually, I was joking, but it's a very serious question about whether or not you like what you're going to draw, or whether or not you like what you're going to paint. And it's always been an issue. And so it's not an issue in other subjects, like in third grade, if you said to a boy or a girl, how much is 5 apples and 5 apples, a kid wouldn't say, I'm not going to do that because I don't like apples. But it happens in drawing and painting that people say they want to do something or they don't want to do it because they like it or don't like it. Now I happen to like this. And the question arises also, why do I like this? Well, aside from the fact that Loki is a lovable pet, there's other things. Just a minute. It has to do with coloring. So you see the color above her eye, that brown. Now, isn't it true that if you were petting Loki, you would think to yourself, I love the color of that brown just above her eye and how it runs down into her nose, and also the way that light brown mixes or goes so well with the dark brown, almost black fur at the top of her head. You must think that, like you look at a kitten, you think, oh, I love this gold color and how it shades off into like a dark brown. There's something about the coloring of the face. It's not human-like, but still, it's very lovable. So if I was going to do this, I wouldn't probably do the whole image as a drawing or painting, because there's no detail over here that I can look at carefully and develop. So what I would do is, I would do what's called crop it. I would pick a section of it, and I would enlarge it. And then it might look like that. So there is cropped and enlarged, just the face, and I'm going to think to myself, okay, I'm going to draw all of this, but I might be disappointed because it's not a good enough photograph. For example, I want to show the nostril. I know the nostril is black, and the other nostril is black, but the whole nose is black and they disappear. So I need a better photograph than this if I want to do a drawing of Loki's face. That's where you come in. I know that you have like about 100 pictures like this, and you probably have several much better than this. So your first part of this assignment is very simple. Select 3 for me. I would really like this if you select 3 images that you have that are portraits or that can be cropped to be portraits, and send them to me in an email. Now, the next question is, what if I wanted to do, instead of Loki, I was trying to decide, okay, I'm going to do an old shoe. I have an old beat up shoe. And it also has dark brown and light brown shaded together, but I might not be inspired to do a shoe. And I think to myself, do artists ever paint shoes? I think that there is a painting by Van Gogh in which he painted boots or shoes. And so I did a Google search. I searched Van Gogh boots. This is what the page image search came up with. That's just the beginning. They go down and on. Van Gogh, shoes. Van Gogh Museum, shoes. Amazon.com, buy a print of shoes. Washington Post article, shoes. Van Gogh boots. Now you'll notice every single time he did this, he used different boots. Every time he wore out a pair of shoes, he did a painting of it. You see, it makes you wonder, did he sit down, look at this old pair of boots before he threw them in the garbage and think to himself, I love that brown tone here and how it goes with the lighter brown, just like on Loki's face. Just like that, but he wouldn't think that because it's like 200 years ago. But the thing is, people paint, but maybe he was sentimentally attached to these shoes and painted them as a keepsake because he's going to throw them out and never see them again. So this isn't a good example of somebody doing a painting of something they don't like. Do people ever do paintings of things they don't like? Now, here's an interesting picture. It's a picture of some ears that have been cut off by a knife. And through the ears go an arrow. And here's a person climbing down a ladder into hell. And here's a naked man hung up on a key ring like a torture. This is one of the most famous pictures in the world. It's in a museum in Madrid. It's called The Garden of Earthly Delights, but people don't know what it was originally called. That's a made-up name. It's called an altarpiece. I don't know the actual dimensions, but it's at least 10 feet across. And that is only just a detail of all the crazy, terrible, frightening, and upsetting things that he put in this picture. And people travel from all over the world to see this picture because they are so fascinated with it. And this is what the whole thing looks like. Now, here's the ear, and in the painting, that detail is right there. So just that gives you an idea of all the craziness, and a lot of it is quite frightening and quite terrible and quite even sickening in this. But people love it. They love it. And the painter is named Hieronymus Bosch, and it was painted many hundreds of years ago, I think around 1430 or 1450, at the beginning of the Renaissance. So this isn't any kind of an assignment. It's just like the lecture, it is a lecture, like that lecture about the Greek pottery. It's just something I think that you should know. But there is something you have to do, and I would like you to do it for Friday, and that is draw that grid. Now, I happen to be at home looking at your drawing of your enlargement that you did of your face, and that has a grid, and it's absolutely perfect. I looked at it like with a magnifying glass, and the lines, like you have a little mark, and the line goes exactly through the mark perfectly. So grids, I know that you can do. But once the grid is done, how do you begin on a cloud? I want to give you a clue. I want you to only draw the bottom of the cloud. The bottom of the cloud is drawn with only diagonal lines, no verticals. So, for example, a cloud is drawn like this. Now, it doesn't look three-dimensional, but that's because it's the beginning. So there's a cloud. If you want to enlarge it, you do it on the diagonal. Now let me get a pen so it shows up better. So now, this is the bottom of the cloud, and it can go anywhere you want as long as you do not use any verticals. Once that's done, then that's when we put in the verticals to make it three-dimensional. But we're not going to do that yet. We're only going to do this. Or better yet, just do the grid and no drawing at all. So that's your assignment. The most important thing is please send me 3 images of, and also tell me if Loki is male or female. I should know that, but it just so happens that I don't know, and I don't know if this is male or female name. So, see you Friday.